Hello, welcome to GEEKAMANIA. I'm here today with Mark, Ben Upton, and Dan. Today we're talking about our top 3 films of the summer and late spring. Start things off.
Other Ben here contests that Iron Man 3 and Star Trek Into Darkness aren't technically summer films because they were out in late spring.
It's true.
Which kind of was beginning of the summer sort of thing. So I think
they're summer blockbusters.
Whatever. So we'll start with Upton.
Upton. Okay. I think my third favourite film of this summer probably is, well, weirdly enough, I don't think this is a third best film, but Pacific Rim was easily my third favourite. Because it's so good, and I felt like a little kid while I was watching it. I felt like I was in my living room sitting on the floor, which I am doing right now actually. And I was playing with action figures and just fighting them. It was great.
Oh, how times have changed.
I know. 21 going on 6. Yeah.
It's fine, it's Del Toro.
It's Del Toro, yeah. And to be honest, that is the... I've not felt like a kid in so long. So long. The memories.
Peter Pan complex.
Benjamin Upton. Yeah. Vague Benjamin Button reference. Didn't wait. Someone else go.
My third film probably be the same as Ben. Third film, Pacific Rim. I really enjoyed it, and it's one of those films, same as Ben, that you can enjoy it even though it might not have a great story, that sort of thing. You just watch it because for what it is. It's basically big robots versus giant monsters. That's all you need. Ben, what's your number 3?
My third favourite film of summer will now be, now that we've included late spring.
It can still not if you really don't want to.
No, I will, otherwise I'll feel bad. I feel really guilty. My third favourite film is now The Way Back. And
wait, how is this? Way Back came out in summer.
Probably because it's maybe 2 and it's 1.
Oh, right.
Probably replacement is.
Yeah. So, Way Back, third favourite film. It's very uplifting. I thought it was a very good story. I was expecting it to be as good as it was. But I think it's another good thing by Jim Rash, who I like a lot. It's in Community. Sam Rockwell was amazing. Music was really good. It was another kind of film like Juno and Little Miss Sunshine. I just really liked it.
Sam Rockwell is a very underrated actor as well.
He's very good. Don't just judge him from Iron Man 2.
No, got Moon.
Moon was amazing.
Green Mile.
Such a good film.
As well. Yeah.
My third is The Conjuring, the horror of The Conjuring, which was probably one of the best house horrors in a very long time, done by the same people who did Insidious as well. And Saw, yeah, because Insidious had that little thing in behind it, didn't it? Doll. But yeah, it was really good. It was actually genuinely scary. Films don't genuinely normally scare me. So yeah, I thought The Conjuring. Don't see it. Don't go and see it, it's not in the cinema.
Yeah.
Buy it on DVD.
Go see it when it comes out in a few months.
That's it. Back to Ben.
Oh yeah, me. Yeah. My number 2. This is tough for me because there's a lot of good comedies that came out this year.
It doesn't have to be comedy.
I know. I'm just saying, but like almost all of my favourite films this year were comedies. And for me, like it's hard because like it comes down to This Is the End versus World's End for me in this slot, and I really like them both. But I think World's End just edges This Is the End out a little, just because of because of the emotional side of it. This Is the End's a funnier film, but The World's End was a far more clever, emotional, and funny film. And I might be a bit biased because I like Edgar Wright a lot.
Yeah, it's a legend.
I still haven't seen this.
Yeah, Mark saw him.
This Is the End's very good. Laugh a minute. It's really worth a watch, but yeah, World's End's better, just by a little, I think.
Mark.
Yeah.
My number 2 would probably be Alan Partridge's Alpha Papa. It's probably one of the first films I've actually, this year, I haven't laughed as much as I have before I saw that. I thought it was one of the best films. Alan Partridge, Steve Coogan's amazing Alan Partridge. The storyline is really interesting. The jokes really, really work. And there have been generally moments when I laughed out loud, and even Richard Young was like probably laughing the most out of everyone. So it's a very, very good film. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely should. Steve Coogan's a legend.
I do need to see that. I do like Alan Partridge.
I love Alan Partridge.
My second is the same as Upton's, World's End, because I thought that it's my favourite Edgar Wright movie thus far, because I think he took a lot of the stuff that he'd learned from his previous films and made it work. So I think, you see, like Shaun of the Dead, when that came out, everyone loved it, but I liked it a lot, but I wasn't sure why everyone loved it so much. Whereas this film, it had all the stuff from Scott Pilgrim, all the combat, all the zaniness, and used that.
The choreography was very Pilgrim.
It had a really kind of adult and jokey
very
story.
mature.
Surprisingly mature story. I just really liked it. I thought it worked really well. It was good seeing Simon Pegg out of playing a crazy character.
Yeah, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost swapping over the straight man and comedy.
Good dynamic.
Doing that whole 180 was quite interesting, I thought, for the film as well. So.
Yeah, so I look forward to Ant-Man.
Probably Simon Pegg's best performance, And that's just a rumour at the moment, isn't it?
Is it still a rumour?
I think that I really hope it is true.
Well, they said that there's that tweet of Simon Pegg pointing to.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean shit. That could just be Simon Pegg found the poster and is like, hey, internet.
Have you seen a ridiculous tweet apparently of Justin Bieber with a script for Batman vs Superman?
I smelt the bullshit a mile away when you posted that on Facebook. I'm just like, just do like you have to do literally a second's worth of Google research to realise that thing is bullshit. Literally, it's just like...
Who would believe it anyway? Justin Bieber as an actor. What?
Did you see that time he was on CSI?
No.
It is the funniest thing ever, because his character's supposed to be like this innocent little kid that's been thrown into this horrible situation, and then it turns out he was the bad guy all along. So Justin Bieber has to act sinister. It's hilarious. It's like if you've ever seen a puppy and played with a puppy. It's like when a puppy tries to play fight with a human and just tries to intimidate them. That's what Justin Bieber acting serious looks like. It's just like, oh, look at you, you're trying to be evil. Aww. You're adorable, Justin Bieber. Go home.
Dad,
stop making music.
My number 2 is definitely not Justin Bieber. Star Trek Into Darkness is my number 2 best film of the summer. I'm not a Star Trek fan, never was. I watched the first one, really enjoyed it. Then I watched the second one, and I thought that Zachary Quinto was brilliant in it. Cumberbatch was amazing in it. And I didn't know all the story of Khan, so I don't really know. So that's maybe why I loved it so much.
See, I do know the Khan storyline, and I do know a fair bit about Star Trek, and I do like quite a lot of Star Trek, so that film didn't really hit for me.
See, I'm not a Trekkie at all.
There's a lot of problems with that for me as a Star Trek light fan. I'm not a Trekkie by no means, but I do enjoy Star Trek quite a bit. But
I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun to sit there and watch it. It was a nice, probably one of the best action films, because I would say it's an action film. Yeah, definitely an action film. Fighting
it's an action. No, I'm not debating whether it's an action film. I'm debating whether it's one of the best action films.
Well, I can't really think of any other action films that have come out.
I would say Iron Man 3 is a lot better of an action film than Into Darkness.
I wasn't a huge fan of Iron Man 3. I thought it was alright.
I wasn't a massive fan of Iron Man 3. It's good. It's really solid, but I wouldn't.
My number 1 is probably an action film, and that's probably the best action film. But we'll go back to
that in a minute.
Yeah, number 1.
Oh, me.
Yes.
Going back to Hawks' number 3, actually, I really, really, really liked The Way Back. Way more than I was expecting. It might just be because it hit me on quite a lot of different personal levels. This film really, got to me. But it is, just as Hawk said, it's a really beautifully crafted film, great soundtrack, great performance by Rockwell. Also, what Hawks didn't mention is how good Steve Carell is in it. He is amazing at being the shittiest human being you would ever want to meet. He's just abominable. I never thought... I really like Steve Carell. Every film I've seen Steve Carell in, I've been like, oh, this guy seems like a nice guy. I'd like to talk... I'd like to, just have a coffee with him or something. But this film, my God, he is the perfect arsehole. But yeah, The Way Back is easily my favourite film of the summer. I enjoyed it way more than I was expecting. Yeah.
My number 1 will be the same as Dan's number 2, which is Star Trek Into Darkness, and I basically leave it the same reasons as Dan did. I'm not much of a Trekkie, and I really enjoyed the film, and Yeah, basically, and I thought Benedict Cumberbatch for me was probably the best performance I've seen in any film. I thought it was a really good Khan, and I thought without him I don't think it probably would have been as good, and now I can't wait to see Star Wars Episode 7. Ben?
I will walk over your cold corpses. Why does he say it so weird?
I'm gonna... I actually got mine rather the wrong way. Because I'm a professional. So I'm gonna swap my number 2. So World's End's my favourite now. And number 2 is Star Trek Into Darkness. You keep like sighing.
Yeah.
You like Pacific Rim was your 3rd favourite.
Yes.
And I think that was much worse.
And that
No.
also means
'Cause it's-
that also means that 3 of us have it as our number 2.
Yeah. So yeah, you're outnumbered and outgunned.
Completely
I'm
outnumbered.
number
Yeah,
one.
but I'd like to point out
Outside.
I am also the only person on this panel that actually enjoys Star Trek.
Probably, but
Probably,
then
but then
Yeah,
again,
it's
one of those
different,
films
isn't
which
it?
was kind
It
of...
does. It really does.
Because I
that's just, I
I
mean,
like-
Because that film was the antithesis of what Star Trek is about for me. Because for me, Star Trek is a wondrous adventure that's like normally quite light-hearted, where like this group of non-violent people go to different planets, explore them, and encounter different ethical and interesting scientific problems, and sort them out through diplomatic means, and leaving violence as a last resort. This film is all quick, can't hear, pew 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 pew, and that's not really Star Trek for me.
but then that's the point, isn't it?
I
Yeah,
know-
because
no,
they
no,
This is a
wanted to-
new Star Trek. The
Yeah.
same as
No, no.
if you was to take Batman, for instance. We've had 60s Batman, we've had dark Tim Burton
Yeah,
Batman,
I know,
campy
and
Batman,
this
and
is-
our Batman now.
Yeah, but
They're
this
just
is the thing.
different.
This is it's the same for me with Batman, because the Batman you almost always prefer is Detective Batman.
Yeah.
For me, Detective Batman's the most interesting, because that's like Batman at his like most poignant. Because Batman doesn't like violence at all. He's opposed to gun
Yeah.
violence, so him solving crimes is a very natural path for him, and it's very similar with Star Trek. I mean, the Prime Directive is incredibly important, and
Yeah, but then you're taking it as old Star Trek.
no,
The same as-
I'm taking this as not only old Star Trek, but almost all TV Star Trek runs like this. It's better. Next Generation,
Well, then that should-
No, right.
Voyager, all runs
Yeah,
like
There are
that.
a
then
lot
again-
of films which are I think you're being a little bit too playing down the amount of violence. There is a lot.
Oh no!
Almost every
for me,
episode
for me,
has, like,
the
shootouts
very
and things.
opening of Star Trek Into Darkness, like that first 10 minutes where they're running through, that was perfect. I loved that. That was exactly what I wanted. And then all of a sudden, it just completely changed a shift onto Benedict Cumberbatch's Khan, and that was. It
Yeah,
wasn't
because
what
they
I
kind of-
wanted
they want
at
to-
all.
They want to go for people who don't like Star Trek to watch this film,
And,
also
and
the
it
people
clearly worked.
who do
but-
like it kind of as well with the little subtle
Yeah, no,
things,
I'm just,
you know.
I'm not disputing that this is a very well made film, but for me, this is not a very
I-
well made Star Trek film. This is more Star Wars than Star Trek, which is why I'm excited for Star Wars, but wasn't
I
enjoying
think I
Star Trek.
see that it was quite closed off as far as the universe is concerned.
Yeah.
You've got, apart from that initial thing with the aliens, it's
And
very
the weird
kind
thing
of
with Spock,
it's
with
a very-
Leonard Nimoy coming back, that bugs me a little.
it's a very
Um,
kind of human based story, and I get that. But as a film following their story, if you consider that this part isn't kind of the Star Trek's the Enterprise's voyage or whatever, this is just a Star Trek adventure. If this was one
Yeah.
episode as a movie, it's really well done. It's emotional. Benedict Cumberbatch is really good. Visually, it looked amazing. There was
I
lights
cannot
galore.
dispute this film visually.
Yeah,
at
visually it
all.
was one of the
I
best
think-
films I've seen.
And acting wise as well, it's beautiful. It's just for me, it just doesn't feel like something.
So I think that maybe it could have been a bit more
Yeah, same.
diverse in story, gone to more planets and stuff like that.
Tonally,
But
it wasn't what I wanted.
Don't you
Also,
think they're
the way
easing
that
us in?
the way they use Klingons really bugs me. Ugh,
And also
that
as well,
wasn't
like as say the thing that Dan was saying earlier, the whole Batman 60s show. My dad loves that 60s show, and to him the newer Batman stuff wasn't as good because he compares it more to 60s stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
it'd be like watching the new Star Wars and then comparing it to the first three.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Anyway,
completely
I think we're
different.
getting off track here.
Okay.
Where were we?
Civil Room sucks. Star Trek 2 is good.
Yeah, so I think
Next
it was your.
Oh, it's mine.
yeah.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
it's
yours.
mine.
My one is Elysium. Best film of the summer, I thought.
That's an action film.
That is
Uh,
definitely an action
That
film.
is a wondrous action
I
film.
love District 9, so I was excited for this. Then I came in and I didn't think it would live up to my hype because I was so excited for it. But it's a very clever film. It's really well shot. It's like watching a computer game at times.
It's a great example of action films having a point of view as well, and not dumbing down the action because of it. It's intelligent and action at the same time.
Oh yeah, some of the little bits of it, if you catch on it, you're like, this is like, for instance, Matt Damon had his arm broken by a police robot going to work, and then when he goes to work later, it turns out he builds the police arm robots. It's a very clever film.
It can be a little heavy-handed at times, but overall it is really well done.
And the guy, don't know the actor's name, but the guy who played the
Sholto.
Sholto. He was also in the 80s as well.
He's very good.
Bloody brilliant.
Evil very good. And horrible, and
he's a better Boba Fett than Boba Fett ever could have wished to be.
He had his at one point he has his face taken off, and then he gets brought back, and then even at one point he sort of hints at raping the woman, and you're like, you could believe that he would rape that woman, and he'd come back and do it again.
And then you look at the guy from District 9 and just like, this is the same actor.
Yeah, exactly. It was just...
This was the guy who played Murdoch in the A-Team?
I came out of this film saying I had to tell everyone to watch it. It was such a good film. Very good film.
Yeah.
Well, this is to District 9.
Yeah, how is it like?
I'd have to watch.
District 9 is a little better, I feel.
I thought District 9 was a lot clever in the fact that at first it starts as a documentary, doesn't it? And then goes on. And again, that actor, he was just so good at District 9, so I was excited. But I'd have to watch Elysium again because obviously I watched District 9 like 3 or 4 times.
They had these, they did lots of viral advertising for
District 9.
District 9.
Yeah.
In the tube stations in London, they have like these signs which said, which just said on like the tube's little banners, it said, "Up here, there's no traffic," and then there was a website called "It's Better Up Here" at like .com or something like that. So it's just like, and that was it. There was nothing like up in Elysium. There's no traffic.
Their marketing is very clever. Whoever does the marketing for those films is a genius.
And then when you think of like the computer game element, like Elysium was like Halo, but then when they landed on it, it was like
Mass Effect.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
And then you had those camera angles where it was just first person, and it was like
they should have used that more. I thought.
Yeah,
it's just 2 shots.
A better version they didn't do with the kind of first person shooter.
No, it wasn't like that. It was kind of behind them, like it had a crane attached to his back or something.
Ah, okay.
He's got a very good vision for weapons as well. I mean, what he has, he really But the thing is, like, there's one thing that really struck out for me, like one tool. It's more like a tool than a weapon, but the like laser cutter thing they had, and they just use that once, and it's just like this lovely little thing which just implants different graphical shapes of an image, and then they just hit a button and it goes boom. Removes the metal plating. It's like,
I love the
people would base whole action scenes around that, and he just uses that once for just nothing. Guy's got him ideas coming out of his arse. It was beautiful,
brilliant, and it makes me excited to see his next film.
Oh yeah, I look forward to whatever he does next.
I'm not sure which film I thought was prettier or looked the best out of that or Pacific Rim. I didn't like Pacific Rim that much. Both of them looked.
I mean, I feel like this. Pretty much my whole list. Elysium was a better film for me. But Pacific Rim meant more to me.
I'm talking about looks.
Yeah. No, not just looks, but just like what this like means for me. Like I'm a huge anime fan and a huge fan of giant robots and giant monsters. And this was everything I'd ever wanted in a film.
There were parts where there was like the teenager who was like, "Oh, I'm loving this."
That was the whole film for me.
The film lover was like, "No, Ben. I like this."
I just turned my film brain off and just reverted to a 6-year-old kid. It's like, he's got chest rockets. It's like,
a lot of like the Power Rangers with crossing Godzilla. With,
exactly.
Like, Gundam and that sort of thing, basically.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we're going on a bit of a tangent.
Yeah.
That was GEEKAMANIA, guys.
Yeah.
And that's Ben.
That's Ben.
That's Mark.
And that's Dan.
Bye.
We're supposed to.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye, guys.
Sorry about the Star Trek rant.